Since the UN declared a famine in East Africa, the world has given millions in aid. But inside a camp in drought-hit southern Somalia, I was invited to witness an unprecedented new development. These Somalis have been caught up in the worst drought in 60 years. The UN says 750,000 Somalis could die in the next few months.
We are honored and blessed to take this opportunity to send our heartfelt greetings to our brothers and sisters in Somalia. It is under these strenuous circumstances that we remember the role played by our beloved Sheikh Osama bin Laden. May Allah have mercy upon him.
This man was introduced as Al-Qaeda's official envoy to Somalia. Al-Shabaab calls him Abu Abdullah Muhajir. He spoke English with an American accent. They say he's a white American, though there's no way of verifying this. The West's biggest fear is Al-Qaeda establishing a base in Somalia, and here they are. Among the dozens of men, I heard European accents, including English. This is the first time the group have spoken publicly in Somalia, and the first time they have distributed aid.
We would like to praise the continuous efforts of Harakat Shabab al-Mujahideen, who, while operating under extremely difficult circumstances, have made it their priority to help their Muslim brothers and sisters with exceptional dignity and grace, and have risen above the lies and deceit circulated by the hypocritical Western media. To our beloved brothers and sisters in Somalia, we are following your situation on a daily basis. And though we are separated by thousands of kilometers, you are consistently in our thoughts and prayers.
This is the side of Al-Qaeda the world has never seen. Along with the food aid, they have brought their medical wing and a fully staffed ambulance. The young boys, who they see as potential future jihadis, give them a rapturous welcome. This is Alayaasir camp in drought-hit southern Somalia, an area controlled by the Islamist group Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab, seen here in Mogadishu, is a Somali group affiliated to Al-Qaeda. Britain and America see them as terrorists, but they call themselves the legitimate Somali Authority. The camp was set up 5 months ago and is now home to 5,000 displaced people who walked days or weeks to reach here. They are waiting to collect their monthly food supplies from Al-Shabaab. Fatuma Osman was one of the first to arrive. Directing the food distribution is a man who calls himself Abu Umar. There have long been suspicions that Brits have joined Al-Shabaab, but a British member has never before spoken to the media.
It's a religious obligation, it's a duty upon us. I mean, we left our countries, we left our jobs just to come here and help our people. I'm an aid worker basically, as you can say, but it's not typical aid work as you see in the West. See, this is what she has to carry. It's a little bit too heavy for her, so probably I might have to carry this. So a bit too heavy for me as well.
Some international aid agencies, including the UN's World Food Programme, have been prevented from distributing food by Al-Shabaab.
We banned organizations such as WFP, which we thought the policies of WFP are not concurrent with the situation here in Somalia. What the aid organizations are doing is providing relief, food relief for a temporary period of time, let's say a couple of months, 3, 4, 5 months. These aid organizations do not understand or do not address the fundamental issue. We say, look, we don't want you to import, we want you to buy it locally. So in this way you can encourage local farming and also for the local economy to get a boost. But they sort of declined, and that's when they left.
The WFP says they pulled out of the area
because of threats to the lives of our staff and the imposition of unacceptable operating conditions, including the imposition of informal taxes and a demand that no female staff work for us there.
After months of drought, the rain comes and the camp is transformed into miles of muddy water overnight. This makes life in the camp even more difficult. Al-Shabaab called the elders together to make an announcement. Inside the mosque, Al-Shabaab's regional governor says, now the rain has come, it's time for them to return to their villages. They are closing the camp. They promise to feed them for the next 3 months until they are able to feed themselves. The aid community feel it's irresponsible to return displaced people to the same situation from which they fled. They say it risks even more lives. Outside the mosque, the reaction was more mixed. Some were uneasy about returning to the homes they had left in search of food.
Isha Osman was one of the first to arrive here. She has been here for 5 months. She's going back home tomorrow, but she said she's not going to accept unless Al-Shabaab provide her enough food supplies.
The night before they return to their villages, Al-Qaeda see another opportunity to win hearts and minds. The Al-Qaeda envoy has bags full of money, the equivalent of $17,000 in total. He begins giving handouts. The next morning, Al-Shabaab line up their trucks ready to take the displaced people back to their villages. The returnee program is a bit controversial. Some people say Al-Shabaab is forcing refugees back to where they have originally fled and sought refuge here. Why are you returning them?
We don't want to keep them here forever, and they don't want to stay here forever. The thing is, these people are farmers, as I said, so what they want to do is they want to be able to tend to their own farms, but they don't have the means or the ability to do so right now because of the lack of rains, the shortage of rain and the drought.
I wanted to put the concerns about returning to famine-hit villages to Al-Shabaab's head of humanitarian affairs, Sultan Ala Muhammad.
dadkan iyaga doortay mise idinka qasbay oo raba inaad kaamka faaruqisaan oo dadka dirtaan
dadka lama khasbayo cid la khasbay oo taqaan martay idinka soo aragteen oo soo waraysateen qof khasab lagu qaadi ma jiro taasi oo iska dacay dadka ay fidiyaan anaga dadkan aad arkaysay oo taqaan la raraayo waxay nooga qaalisan yihiin naftiga
sababta uu noqonaysa maxay tahay
waxa la yiraahdaa kaamka halayo guuro sida awdeedii ayaan ugu naqanaynaa wiil xalay waxaan loo gudbay ilaa 3 bilood aan wax ka qabsanayna in meesha uu ogaanay
haday sameyn waayaan ka war
haday sameyn waayaan ay ka karabiyo laakiin noocaasana loo gudbay
hadii sida la filayo roobku uu dii waay oo dadkii beerahoodii falan waayaan maxaad sameynaysaa
alxamdulillah waxaan haysanaa kalsooni baan haysanaa oo dadka kale aan haysan haddaan muslimiintana
I did not see anyone being physically forced to leave, but Al-Shabaab were closing the camp, so they had little choice but to return. More than 200 vehicles were packing up to leave. I joined a truck taking families back to the village of Barire, which is in the worst affected area of the UN-declared famine zone. Rukia was traveling back to her village with her husband and 5 children.
هذا بيوي أصل على راهين قدام إذا قاعد يبيش سيارة
لكن هذا حالة واي قصبين سما قصب كوع عليا
مايا اسكت كورة اللي أنت عالم كده اسكت كورة اللي أنا كلنا ما فينا هاي اسكت باهي
Night was falling as we arrived back at their village, which they had left 4 months earlier. The families had enough food to last a month, but after that they would be reliant on Al-Shabaab keeping their promise of delivering food. With no crops on their farm and no food stored away, their future remains uncertain.
Beer falistana meeqa goorma bilaabaysaa markaas?
beer falista waqti ilaahay hoob noo keen had hoob waa da'ay hadan la imaan ku beer harbada haday galayna hadan